about 90% of the advice out there will make you broke. And this is coming from somebody that has done this for the past decade and is still a marketing agency owner today. If you're a marketing agency owner that's trying to get from 100 to 500K a month all the way to $1 million a month, you're in the right place. We're going to talk about the only way to actually scale a marketing agency going into 2026. I'm Nick, founder of Agency Acquisitions. I've been where you are. I've started from scratch. And today I'm helping agencies scale profitably with the exact same systems that took my own agencies from 0 to 8 figures. In this video, I'm going to break down the 3 things you actually have to get right before you even think about scaling your agency in 2026. No fluff, no buzzwords, just what actually really works right now. So let's get into it. One of the reasons why scaling an agency right now is so difficult is because you get stuck in the day-to-day. So you have to go out and actually deliver against the stuff that you're selling, and you're not making your product scalable enough. This means a lot because there's this thing called a replacement ladder. And for you to be able to enact the replacement ladder, you first have to create a proven product or service that you can deliver beyond yourself, meaning like you are not required to do it. So let me get into the model that I've used to be able to make this happen. And then let's go through the replacement ladder so that I can show you how to get your time back while you scale your agency. So the first and most important thing is that we need consistent service delivery, right? And for this to happen, really, we need to ask ourselves one question: is how we currently deliver the service in a way where we can retain clients for at least 6 months, ideally 12 or 18 months, and we're not undercharging versus our competitors. And do you have to be the one to deliver it? Let's think about this way. Can you deliver the product consistently with average or better results? If yes, write down the standard operating procedure on how to do it, and then get somebody else that did not write the SOP to actually deliver against the SOP, meaning can they deliver it by following the procedure that you wrote out? If you can't deliver the product yourself, you have to hire somebody else that can. And then they write the standard operating procedure, and then they delegate it to somebody else to see if that person can deliver against it. And what this does is that if somebody else can actually deliver against the standard operating procedure, that is our acid test. That is our test to see if this has been done well enough. And this is very key because it fully connects with the replacement ladder, because you as the agency owner and or leader in an agency, you have to get out of the day-to-day work. And this is how we do it, the replacement ladder. And you're going to see how this is connected in 1 second here. The important thing to understand here is that the top 2 items here, admin and delivery, these 2 things are working in the business. This is you working in the business. Working on the marketing, corporate marketing, sales, and leadership are working on the business. And this is where we want to be. When we work on the business, everything that we do is scalable. When we work in the business, we are just cranking out work week after week, month after month. So how do we do this? Well, admin, we need to outsource everything, bookkeeping, your own calendar. If you are doing 100K or close to 100K per month or above, you need to get rid of all your admin, hire a VA or a personal assistant. You got to get all that admin off you as quickly as possible. Then we move into delivery of your actual core product service. And there's 3 phases to getting rid of delivery. Number 1, get rid of client work. Number 2, client management. So like the actual meetings, etc. And lastly, but definitely not least, client quality assurance and strategy. So client work day to day, write that SOP, get that out of the way. Client management, again, series of SOPs, methodologies. Generally, this is the accounts handbook. How do we deal with clients day to day? You get rid of that. And then the final one is the quality assurance of the product or service and the strategy. And these things are more so quarterly, and you can actually hang on to these for quite a while without it being overly onerous. But in a perfect world, generally what you're going to have happen is either you have like a top star performer that can do these things for you, or you're going to have to go outside of the actual agency to hire somebody that can do the quality assurance and strategy. And then you're in a position where you're working on the business. And when you work on the business, this is what's going to help you generate long-term wins. If nobody's working on the business, you are dead in the water. The next thing you have to take care of in order to scale your agency profitably in 2026 is having your basic internal and external reporting dialed in. If you don't have these things dialed in, you're flying blind. And what am I talking about specifically? Productivity when it comes to your team, how the client's results are shaping up, and what does client satisfaction look like? If you have those 3 things, it's very difficult to lose. So let me walk you through how to put together these things in a couple separate dashboards that are going to enable you to make sure that you can see where all your clients are at, regardless if you're actually doing the work or not. So the first thing that we want to put together is a client satisfaction / churn and results dashboard. This gives us a management mission control where we know how happy the clients are we on the right side of the equation with them, and are they going to stay with us? This is what really controls our ability to not only upsell clients, but also ask for referrals and also solve problems before our client's ever going to actually think about leaving us. So how do we do this? Well, number one, we need to calculate client churn for the company and per account manager. A lot of people count client turnover, client churn, but they do it at a company level. And what we need to do it is not only count at a company level, we need to count it at an account manager level. And it needs to be revenue based, not client based. Okay. Figure out what the revenue churn is. And we put this into the accounts dashboard. So this is the foundation of the accounts dashboard. So churn lets us know what happened in the rear view mirror, but what about predicting the future? How do we prevent churn from happening in the first place? Well, we have to do quarterly net promoter score by client. Net promoter score asks people how likely they are to refer us from 1 to 10. 9 or 10 means that they're very high likelihood. And basically we put all of these scores into an internal facing dashboard for all employees to see. So we know which clients are ultra happy with us, which clients are kind of okay with us, and which clients are pissed off. So we can actually go to them and prevent them from ever leaving us. So this prevents them from actually becoming churn. And this is why this is so key. Lastly, and definitely not least, we need to take all of our clients and put them down in one spreadsheet and write down the results that we are getting for them weekly and or monthly, and then find industry average benchmarks and compare them. And then we communicate that to the client. So for example, if the client says, we're not really happy with the results, it's like, hey, did you know that the average result right now in market for your industry is like 3x ROAS and we're hitting like 5 or 6? This is exactly what we need to use as a tool, as an early detection system for us to hit targets, but also to hold the client and tell them like what the benchmarks actually look like of what good is. So we take these and we put it into a dashboard and compare average versus the actual results we obtain. And all three of these things make their way into this master client dashboard. This is on the client happiness side. On the client productivity side, we need to do a little more to make sure that our system is rounded out. So we need to have a productivity dashboard, right? There's two ways to do this. Number one, we measure hours. So it's a utilization rate target per person and company wide. And then we create an efficiency report, right? So like how many hours did they actually use versus how many they were assigned by team. If you don't measure time, it's okay. We need to use a different method, which is called DLER. So this is direct labor efficiency rate, DLER. My rating is not the best. And DLER is just revenue under management divided by the cost of the individuals that do the work. And the ratio that we want is 3.33. Okay. If the ratio is 3.33 or greater, we are on the right side of DLER. And you can measure this by department, by company as a whole, by pod. There's a ton of different ways to measure it. But whether you measure hours or do DLER, we need to put together this productivity dashboard. The third thing that you're going to need to do is install a client feedback loop. And this is crucial. The foundation for client retention is this system. Getting clients is one thing, but keeping them is actually what scales your agency. And you need this built-in feedback loop that captures what the clients are actually thinking before they even feel it and before churn comes knocking at your door. So what this means is beyond the regular check-ins and pulse surveys, all these other things, how do we do the qualitative side of that? How do we actually do it? Let's get into the model. So look, I want to show you why this client feedback loop matters so much. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is what happens. All these scenarios over here are the exact same. Same sales per month, same average price. This is MRR. And the only thing that we're actually changing is all the items here in blue. Well, all we're changing is the monthly revenue churn rate, which equals an annual churn rate. Now, what you're going to see here really quickly is that the difference between 12% monthly churn versus 6% is that the outcome is double. So meaning your annual revenue at 12% would be 800,000, which means like a peak monthly revenue of 66,000 versus at 6%, you go to 1.6 million. And this is for the exact same amount of closes per month and same sales price. And it's really easy to see why. Here you're at 8 months and change in terms of lifetime value. When you go to 6%, you are doubling that effectively. So what happens if you go down from 6 to 3? Well, same thing happens. Double the amount of lifetime value, double the amount of top line revenue. But here's the thing. Every time you cut this in half, it basically doubles. So when you go from like 12 to 6 and then 6 to 3, you go from 800K to 1.6 to $3.2 million per year. And here's the, I guess, the dirty secret of agencies is that the top agencies that are doing $10 million in revenue and above all have around a 2% churn rate, right? Like 2.5 or less. And it's really easy to see why, because like when you're hitting 2% churn, you're keeping clients for 50 months. That's over 4 years, right? You don't need a lot of sales to be a big agency. And guess what? You may cut down churn in half, but guess what? Your profitability is gonna more than double, especially if you are above 10% churn per month or more. So the goal is hit that 2% churn rate. But how do we do this, and how is this connected to the client feedback loop? Well, here we go. The client feedback loop is really about getting an early detection system that ensures that clients are always happy with us. And we do this via Net Promoter Score. Net Promoter Score, we ask them to score us 1 to 10 with how happy they are and how likely they are to refer us to other people if we wanted a referral. And then following the Net Promoter Score, we do a feedback call immediately. And this is where we get them on the phone and we ask them why they gave us the score that they gave us. If they gave us a 9 or a 10, we're going to ask for an upsell, referral, or testimonial, right? Every single time. For all the scores, including the 9s and 10s, we're going to communicate this back to the team, and we're going to use this to amend the process service, right? So we're making the process and the service iteratively better over time. And this is what creates the product improvement and the service improvement flywheel. We're basically creating a never-ending cycle that enables us to improve month after month, quarter after quarter. And this is the key, because remember, when we cut churn in half, this is what happens. We go from 8K per year to 1.6 to 3.2, etc. And this is the easiest way to have highly profitable growth. If you want a deeper training on the client feedback loop and how to enact this in your business in a way more detailed way, check out this video where I go through the client feedback loop in detail. So look, he's built and have helped build multiple 7 and 8 figure agencies using these exact models, and it works every single time, because when you control churn and you're able to get out of that day to day, everything shifts. You have to understand that the name of the game is being able to actually predict the future. And with the 3 models that I just walked through, this is exactly what you're going to be able to do. The people that struggle, they're not looking at dashboard. They're not trying to predict their needs. And this lack of clear reporting, no retention processes, and no feedback loops, that's what initially creates that plateau after growth. And when you put these processes in place, you are going to create a less chaotic environment where you can work on the business rather than in it. I'm going to leave behind some free stuff that you can apply today to make your agency that much better. I'm Nick from Agency Acquisitions. Till next time.